Hello everybody and welcome to this amazing top 5 list of the worst passives in Smite. Often I've played gods and realized that I don't even notice the passive ability on some of them. I mean, when thinking of useful passives, I think of gods where the passives make very noticeable impacts on gameplay. For example, Shock gets a free spell with every 5 basic attacks, making it important to build the passive and cast afterwards to improve his sustain in lane. On this list, we'll be looking at the passives that I often forget or feel they don't make an impact or very little impact on gameplay. Sometimes I forget that gods even have passives for how small the effect that they can provide. Remember that everything on this list is my opinion, which should be a given. And if you disagree, you're more than welcome to express that in the comment section below, but don't expect me to change my list. This list will be based off the most recent patch of the time, 3.7. So without further delay, here are the top 5 worst passives. Number 5. Vulcan's Heavy Shot. To me, I add Vulcan on the list simply because I forget that he even has a passive. I can't say that this passive is at all useless because it can be beneficial sometimes. Vulcan's passive Heavy Shot provides Vulcan's next to basic attack after an ability to have an added slow effect. It doesn't sound too bad, but whenever I play Vulcan or watch other Vulcans play, I rarely see the basic attack follow a long-range magma bomb or backfire. I mean, I can see the benefit if you land a magma bomb, which knocks the enemy towards you, then you combo it into your Inferno Cannon or backfire, but otherwise I just don't see this being one of those great passives. I feel this is more useless as Vulcan's zoning capabilities is possibly the finer point of this god. I often wonder if Vulcan mains look out for this passive as some sort of secret weapon. I fought plenty through my time in Season 1 and 2 Joust that I can honestly say they never took the time to basic me after an ability, since the rest of their abilities are on a very nice short cooldown which allow him to remain mobile. I feel maybe they can change his passive to be a bit more beneficial to Vulcan, maybe more damage with consecutive casting, who knows. All I know is that this passive is easily forgettable, but not completely useless, putting it at 5 on my list. Number 4. Zeus Overcharge. Welcome back to another list of top 5 worst Zeus. However, this time, this is less of a complaint about the god than it is the chance to point out that I don't feel his rework was complete. Zeus used to have a shield that provided him movement speed and protections with the addition of a reflection effect. With this, you were able to box hunters and fight back with basics, allowing attack speed Zeus to be somewhat viable in some situations. However, come midway in Season 2, Zeus underwent a rework that changed him from a hybrid god into a full burst mage, allowing him to dish out massive damage more effectively. This is where Overcharge comes in as a pretty bad passive. Overcharge causes Zeus's basic attacks to deal more damage with the more lightning stacks they have applied to the target. As I said, having that ability to box hunters was pretty strong, allowing you to utilize this passive effectively. However, with his current shield, it now makes it harder to capitalize on this. When using the shield, it blocks your own passives, turning them into an AoE shock attack that also applies these lightning stacks. Sounds great, except this does not apply the passive's effect to the AoE damage dealt by Aegis Assault. This leads me to feel that the passive does not work well with his kit, since he is designed for the quick burst damage, that it is not normal for Zeus to box opponents with basics other than to just reapply a couple of stacks. If Zeus were to keep the same passive he has had, I would feel that this passive effect should at least be applied to his current Aegis Assault ability. That should include any in-hand effects such as Hasten Fatalis, which would allow Zeus to properly box opponents who engage on him while he uses the ability. I've already complained enough that Zeus has been ruined for me, since I don't like to play him in Conquest, and in Joust he's still only viable with the right team to back him up. Odin. Number 3. Nox, Flame of the Night. My favorite brand god, Nox, comes sucking up the night with this sucky passive, cause it sucks. I mean, in theory, it does help grant a nice boost in magical power, boasting a wonderful 12% additional magic power at max stacks. Wait a minute, hold on, 12% magical, hang on, I thought that was a little more than that. Hold on, can we check that again, please? Oh, 3% per 4th. Oh, yep, this sucks. But not nearly as bad as the remainder of passives on this list. Okay then, so using the average glass cannon build, let's just say the average power was 900, and we could probably muster out an additional 108 power just off this passive at max stacks. And then someone's gonna say, oh, but TydeTyme, 108 power is like a full item. But for how long? It's not real power when you can lose the entire passive in a mere second. By taking any damage from any source, it removes a stack from the passive. That means all sources. You take damage from an ability with a dot, each tick of that dot is a separate source of damage, meaning you lose a stack for practically everything. It gets so crazy that a hunter with chin size counts as 2 stacks from a single basic attack, since chin size is bonus damage and counts as its own source. I mean, sure, you want to play like a coward in the back line trying not to get hit by anything? You could use your passive for that nice power boost. Be my guest. But I guarantee you, someone's going to come back there and they're just going to hit you with something no matter how far back you step. You might as well go back and defend your passive in the fountain while your team fights without you if you need those stacks. Jesus. Number 2. Aphrodite, Loving Embrace. So this is one of those passives that sounds wonderful, as you're able to support an ally with additional mana regen, right? Wrong. A good 30% of everything that Aphrodite regains in mana, her soulmate does as well. However, you have to really take in how much mana you really recover. Your MP5 is usually terrible until the late game. At the end of a duel, I had about 66 MP5, which means if I could use my passive with somebody else, I would give my soulmate 19.8 mana per 5 seconds. That's about 1 mana under blue buff per second at the end game. I mean, yes, your soulmate will still recover mana, but at such a small rate, it's extremely forgettable. I mean, seriously, it's just equal to a blue buff by the end game. There's no real strategy to it, other than, one method that could truly help. If you use potions, blue buff, or meditation while having a soulmate, it will grant them 30% of all that regen as well. And I mean, that would be one of those situations that you get that significant boost from the passive. But who really goes out of their way for that? I mean, look at Conquest real quick. Aphrodite is known to be solo for the most part. Take her in the mid, I mean, sure, you can hug that jungler for days, but I guess until the late game, even then your MP5 is just going to be pitiful. Duel with Aphrodite? Useless. Joust? Okay. Joust, it could be slightly useful since you're always with your party, but while I have been playing Joust a large amount, I've learned that Aphrodite still isn't enough to make a noticeable amount of mana regen to her allies, as my allies always have to back for the lack of mana. And with all this being said, it's just really there for the ability itself. So, it's useless. But who could possibly have a passive worse than this? And that moves us on to number 1. Ratatoskr, Acorn of Yggdrasil. I've had my discussion with several players who like Ratatoskr, and I've come to conclude that this passive alone makes Ratatoskr just a lesser god in general to play in comparison to all the others. I have a lot of fun playing this little squirrel, but the one thing I hate so much about him is his passive. This damned Acorn. I hate you, Acorn. I hate this Acorn. This Acorn is simply the worst because it is the only passive that actually limits a god more than it helps them. Oh, but TydeTyme, it is a good item and has really good passives that upgrade abilities. No, just no. It does not have a great passive. It is the passive. Ratatoskr suffers from subpar abilities since they all lack a bit of their true potential locked behind this item. The item itself isn't half bad, honestly. The stats are great. However, it lacks the one ability every other item in this game, excluding relics, has. It cannot be sold. Once you purchase the bloody thing, it's stuck there. You can't fix it. It's a mistake that you're just stuck with. You can't even change it to fit into any situation. Once you have that Acorn, you are committed to that style of play for the rest of the game. And that's what sucks the most. Once picking this Acorn, someone can specifically build against it and alter their build while you're stuck with your build since that item is permanently there and fixed to the character to the rest of the game. I mean, seriously, it's so bad rumors are out about a rework on the rat already. Honestly, I think if they were just to fix this passive and allow you to alter your acorn to adjust abilities, it might serve a greater purpose and allow rat to build freely like all the other gods in the game. I get the unique aspect of the item being in the inventory, but at least make it interchangeable. It may be a unique passive, but it is the worst passive in Smite. So what do you think? Do you agree with my list? Did you forget these passives exist too? And what passives do you dislike or think need a buff? Let me know in the comments below what your top 5 worst passives are. I'd really love your feedback. If you like my video, please leave a like and share it with your friends. The work I put into these lists go above just the average gameplay video, and it would mean a lot to me to know that you like what I make. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, good game.